So, you like Dazed and Confused and stuff like that movie. I never seen that movie. I mean, what's it really, what was the plot of that thing?
I don't really remember the plot too much other than it's just a bunch of guys in high school and getting high.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of people that was in that before they got famous.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey was in it. It was one of his first movies.
Yeah, he won an Oscar recently.
Actually, it was his first movie, I think it was.
He won an Oscar for that. Not for that, but I mean, he was won an Oscar recently.
Yeah.
Dallas Buyers Club. I never seen that either. My favorite Matthew McConaughey movie is Ed TV.
Ed TV, yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Actually, he just did one. I wish I could remember the name of it, where he's plays a homeless guy. These kids, he's on the run for murder or something. These kids are they find him, but they don't know he's a murderer, and he befriends them, and they end up trying to get a boat out of a tree. I wish I could remember the name of it, man, but
that was the name of the Matthew McConaughey movie?
I don't remember the name of it. I wish I did. But
maybe I'll Google it or something, find out. Just Google it online, find out what it is. Maybe put the plot in or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, you love construction. What's it about? Just like the tough work of it all, or what?
It's the tough work, yeah, and it's the fact that it's intricate. It actually takes some thinking to do it. You know, you're not just a mindless drone in a factory, or flipping burgers or something. And you get some appreciation out of it. People appreciate what you do. It's great to feeling when somebody goes through and goes, wow, look at this. Look at that. That is just beautiful. I love that, dude. When people do that, that really makes my day. It makes my job seem worthwhile.
Yeah, you ever done drywalling?
Yeah, I've done a lot of drywall. It's probably my favorite thing to do.
One of my friends was doing that on his house recently. One of my friends was doing it on his house, and I never done it before. I mean, how hard is that kind of a job there?
Yeah, well, it all depends on how patient you are. The more patient you are, the less patient you are, the harder the job is. If you're patient, it's not that bad. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it right.
You got any kind of construction vest or anything like that you wear? Do you have any construction vest from your prior job?
No, I don't wear any special clothes or nothing. Those are road crew guys that usually wear the vest and whatnot.
Well, the thing was though, is there like a construction job or a heavy duty job like you would love to do that you haven't done yet? I mean, when you see these guys like working in the city or something like that.
Oh man, I'd love to work on skyscrapers or something. I think that'd be awesome, just to say that I did it. And that's only because I got a fear of heights.
Oh well, how is that going to help?
I'd get over my fear of heights. I get over it real quick. I'm up there doing what I got to do, and you're strapped in and safe. You got lines on you and whatnot. So
you go down to Cincinnati or whatever. You go down to Cincinnati for those jobs, or New York has a lot of those skyscrapers.
I might someday. Right now, I'm kind of just.
But you can go to Cincinnati or downtown Dayton if you want a skyscraper, maybe.
Yeah, but they ain't working on them too often, You got to know somebody getting those kind of jobs, and I don't know. I just ain't got around to it yet. Maybe someday.
Go down to Cincinnati much?
No, I try to stay away from Cincinnati, tell you the truth.
Oh, you don't like Cincinnati much?
That's too crowded.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know. I like the craziness of Dayton, man.
Okay, now what's so great about? What's some of your favorite memories of living in Dayton? Let's talk about your adulthood. What's your adulthood? What was some of the greatest things living in Dayton during your adulthood?
Bouncing. I like bouncing. Nightclubs, man. I had a lot of fun doing that. And actually, my best memories are a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I hated that film.
You hated that film? I loved it, man. I performed in it. I played Rocky. That's when I actually had some hair. But
you talking about like the Broadway, like the play?
Yeah. Well, we did a live broadcast of it on the screen, and we'd have actors acting the parts out on stage. And I performed as Rocky.
Oh, and how was that kind of makeup job like?
I didn't really have to do too much makeup, but I had to wear gold bikini briefs, gold boots, and run around this theater naked, basically. It was a lot of fun, man. There was a lot of laughter. A lot of friends were made there, and friends that I still talk to this day.
Really? Now, how many people? I remember watching the movie like on VH1 or whatever.
No, it's not the same, man. It's not the same as going to a live performance.
But I'm saying, like, how many people were? There's some base there with the movie, but it's been a long time since I haven't seen the movie in several years. And how many cast members, how many cast of characters are in that thing?
Well, you got Frank, which was Tim Curry's role.
Susan Sarandon played one person.
Yeah, she played Janet, and then Brad was her husband. Yeah, Meatloaf played in that as Eddie. Yeah, Columbia, I don't remember who played her, but Magenta, Riff Raff, and Dr. Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 8 people. There's 8 roles in that.
8 roles in that, really.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now was there ever a character you would ever be interested in playing besides Rocky?
I played them all.
You played them all.
I played every character in that movie, including Janet. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That must have been, Janet must have been an interesting situation.
Oh yeah, I mean it's all for fun. We just did it for fun, you know. Well, you got to think about it. Shakespeare, back in the day, man, they wouldn't allow women on stage. It was taboo, so they would they would fill all the roles, male and female, with males. You know, so if you get hung up on, you know, oh, it's a male role or it's a female role, you're never going to survive in theater. You know, and that was the mindset I went into it with. It's all for fun. You know, we do whole role reversals sometimes where the male cast members would play, or the male cast would play the female cast role, or the female roles, and the female cast would play the male roles.
Right,
you know,
right.
Which made it for a very interesting experience. It's all for fun.
Yeah, yeah. Is that like? Well, I'm guessing it's probably more of a popular thing, probably around Halloween time.
Oh yeah, now it is. But back in the day, man, we did it every weekend, every Saturday at midnight. That was what we did. That was how we got away from everything, and then we have a party afterwards.
What's your favorite memory as far as Halloween wise? What's your favorite memory? What'd you dress up as growing up?
My best costume was probably, oh man, worked at this place called the Bordello of Blood. It was actually down here in Cincinnati. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it's an old dilapidated building, man. You could, when you walked in, you could see through the rooms into other rooms. It used to be an old it was actually a bordello, and it had fire damage, and it was just creepy as can be. And my costume, I had a pair of
okay, but it was a bordel before you guys went in there,
yeah,
and it was burned. It was burned or something.
Yeah, it had burn damage, fire damage, and whatnot. But my costume, it was a no mask haunted house. Nobody wore masks. It was all Hollywood movie and special effects. You know, and my costume was great. I took a pair of pajama bottoms, flannel pajama bottoms, ripped them to shreds, had them tied in knots here and there, and wore a white tank top, skin tight, you know, the ones they call wife beaters, and it had holes and stuff cut into it. And then I used liquid latex and put cuts all up and down my arms, and then did a X right across my neck. And they were so convincing, and with I made my face look pale and the eyes look dark, and I was so convincing with the walk and everything that when I walked into the bar, they called 911 on me when we were passing out flyers. But I mean, I had to walk where I was just like,
like you were.
Yeah, I walked in there and they called 911 on me. It was, I was like, no, don't do that.
They thought you were seriously sick or something?
Yeah, they thought I had got hit by a car.
Oh, Jesus. You were that makeup. That was that was effective makeup and costume. Blood and stuff.
We had my buddy Phil. His costume was pretty good. He brought another guy with him for his costume, and he had the guy put his arm like this, and had all kinds of look like flesh and stuff,
right?
And guts. So it looked like it was coming out of his stomach. And this guy wore a big, huge coat. And he had his arm like this, and Phil just walked behind him. It had his arm in the guy's coat. You know, so it looked like he was walking behind him with his arm through the guy. And he scared the crap out of a lot of people too, because his job was to chase everybody out the haunt. Like they'd come into every room and it's like when you walked in there, the guy that was the guide would bring like 20-30 people into one room and then close the room in with the actors. Right. And they'd be in there for like 5 minutes, and you had a whole 5-minute skit that you did and chased them around your room and whatnot, freaking them out. And then the guy would open the door to the next room, and they'd go into the next room, and he'd shut the door behind them, and they'd be locked in a whole nother nightmare, you know. And then they just went from room to room to room to room, and then my buddy Phil would chase him out with his hand through another guy. You know, it was pretty cool.